Question of the day. You are out with your friends and you are quickly meeting your partner to give them the house key as they've locked themselves out. Your partner arrives, you say hello, and you introduce your partner to your friend. You know your friend is smoking hot to the opposite sex. Your partner starts stuttering and stumbling over her own name. Oh, my name. She blushes red, obviously because of the instant attraction. How do you feel? You don't look like you're happy. It's not her fault though, right? Is it her fault?
Damn sure ain't my fault.
So are you?
No, I wouldn't react. I wouldn't react. I wouldn't react. I keep a lid on it because I know better now. That's the old Joseph. I'm different now. I'd keep a lid on it. I wouldn't react.
Never even seen that bitch blush before, you know.
Listen, I'd keep a lid on it. I wouldn't react. I'd immediately call some females that I know, like come around, whatever, sort something out. But you can't let that stand.
Is it okay though? Is it okay?
Of course, it's not okay.
It's not. So, but it's not her fault though.
It ain't my fault.
So, what do you expect her to do? Not stutter?
Yeah. You stuttering? Are you fucking 4? What's going on? Come on, man. Come on.
Is it your fault for introducing?
If I met, like, let's say I met Margot Robbie, would I be stuttering?
That's where it come from.
Would I be stuttering?
That's where I got the idea from. So Margot Robbie, basically Margot Robbie was a bridesmaid in a wedding recently, and then I just thought about it today. That situation.
If I met like a super attractive female celebrity, Margot, I wouldn't be stuttering. So
you
no excuse.
You don't know. Firstly, you don't know.
Listen, Margot, if you want to try it.
So if you did, and your girl got pissed off with you, what would you say in your defense? Oh, I did.
I don't know what I'd say in my defense, to be honest. That's a technical one.
So what if that situation happened to your friend and he was telling you about it and he said, and I checked if she was wet and she was soaking. She was soaking.
She can't be soaking.
She was soaking. Would you be like?
I'd give it to her. If she was soaking, I'd give it to her.
Would you be like? What do you mean you checked? Or would you? And he said, "Well, it's a good thing I did."
Yeah, nah.
Is that sick to check?
To be fair, nah, it is. Cause like,
but what if she was?
No, because come on, there's no way. Soaking, nah, there's no way.
He's smoking hot. Chris Brown.
Nah, I don't care. I don't care. If it's Chris Brown, it's funny you should say that as well, because people was paying Chris Brown like $1,000 to take pictures with him. Obviously, women.
Yeah.
And if like women there getting their like asses grabbed up or whatever, like wrapped up around Chris Brown, and someone broke up with their girl over it. Like, someone literally said, don't come back around it no more. But when you see the picture, it wasn't as bad as some of the other pictures, but at the same time, I was literally like, listen, you got a band to drop for pricks with Chris Brown. You're mad. Don't come around here. Don't come around here again. I think that's fair.
I don't know what I think about that, because, look,
$1,000's a lot.
At the end of the day, look, you're going to deprive yourself of an experience for a man that you're not even going to spend the rest of your life with.
You might do, you might not. Are you going to spend the rest of your life with Chris Brown?
No, definitely not. But it's an experience that they want. Obviously, my girl could never.
Yeah,
but your girl could. I mean, your
you say that. Your girl has. No, but in all seriousness, though, like, come on, you can't be doing that.
That was a lot longer than we were supposed to. We need to allocate 2 minutes.
And we wasn't even talking about the question for a lot of it. What?
So, pause this video right now. Go and read A Court of Thorns and Roses by
Sarah J. Maas. And when you've read it, you can join us for the discussion.
You know what? We had something that we wanted to read out, but I don't have it. You have it. So, we're going to have to just say it another time.
Yeah, say it another time.
So, what did you think of the book?
We didn't even finish the intro. This
has been a shambles.
So, you're an idiot.
Anyways, we move.
What did I think of the book? Bloody disgrace. It was a bloody disgrace. I think
that's the best romance book we've read.
It is a bloody disgrace.
What do you think about that? What I said?
The best romance book we've read. I'm trying to remember some other romance books we've read.
Funny story.
Ah.
Iron Flame. Fourth Wing.
I'd rather read Iron Flame again than I'd read this.
Maybe. But
that's not what you said, is it? That's not what you said.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one I'm trying to say. So that's why I say this is better. The camera battery is losing. We're losing battery fast. We're gonna have to see if we'll change it. But yeah, I think it's the best romance book I've read, purely because there was no romance in there.
Yeah, there was no romance.
But it was. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. But yeah, I'd much rather read this over that Iron Flame trilogy, and I think because it was the romance. It was kind of I don't know. I think it was better. It was better than the other
I am
stuff.
not even, when I say it's a bloody disgrace, I'm not even necessarily just talking about like the romance
Yeah, because that
aspects
wasn't
of it.
much. It wasn't much.
The story was actually just bloody disgrace in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, so A Court of Thorns and Roses. Cool title. Not sure it means much, to be honest. Just so you guys know what you're in for, this story at its core is a bastardization of Beauty and the Beast. The emphasis of the story is on toxic romance, but the setting, I would say, is Tolkien meets Game of Thrones. It's classic fantasy, but the gaps are filled, and I mean filled with smart. And this is not the only book that's like this, to be fair. Iron Flame was actually pretty worse, I would say, in terms of the smart. There really wasn't as much as I was expecting, because I read a couple of reviews about A Court of Thorns and Roses, because it is a ridiculously popular romance book. It's cult, literally cult-like following. And loads of people were saying, oh my god, this isn't for children, there's so much smart in here. And I was expecting like...
No, there wasn't nothing.
There really wasn't
there was
that much in there.
Nothing.
Like when I read Iron Flame, I could feel my application to heaven being denied.
As I said, your nipples were getting hard.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Oh, it's ridiculous. Tempting.
Me?
Yeah, go for it.
So what happens is Feyre, it's not even Feyre, is it?
Feyre.
I always get the names wrong. Feyre brings home a deer and a wolf skin. I don't understand why at this point, but her dad was concerned about the wolf skin. Her dad said something along the lines of, it's too dangerous to have this. And Feyre wanted to say to her father, you barely leave the house most days, and if it wasn't for me hunting, you'd starve.
Yeah,
her father is disabled. We don't exactly know why or how, but we know it's an old battle wound of some sort on his leg that's never 100% healed, which renders him disabled. But my point is, you would never say that to a disabled child, or a disabled woman, or a grandma. Yeah. You barely leave the house. If it wasn't for me, you'd starve. But because of her own mental concept of what a man is or should be, a provider, a strong, competent... she thinks it's okay. Because her father, her disabled father, doesn't fit the idealistic stereotype gender role, she treats him as if he's less than.
Literally. Bearing in mind, she doesn't, by her own admission, fit what a woman is. Bearing in mind, because she even says, I'm not that nice, I'm not that pretty, I don't wear dresses, yada, yada, yada. But she doesn't lose value because of that. But what I think is interesting is, he literally got his legs smashed up, can't even walk. They said it took him 6 months to learn how to walk again, whatever it was. She was cooking him. I mean, obviously...
She didn't say it.
She didn't say
wanted
it.
to say
she
that.
She thought it in her head.
She wanted to say that. She pulled that back just out of respect. But the fact that she wanted to say that, come on, man, as I said, you would never say that to anybody. You wouldn't even think about it. Yeah, well, you definitely wouldn't say it to no disabled person, or whatnot.
Yeah, I think that was criminal. This story is going to be hard work, I can tell. We're dropped into chapter 1 in the middle of a fantasy land with a fantasy name that we're unsure how to pronounce and a fantasy conflict that we know nothing about. Our main character is a girl called Feyre who is hunting in the snow to find food for her poor family. Feyre hasn't eaten in days and she has only a bow and arrows with which to find something. After a while, she happens upon a doe, which is like a female deer, I guess. Before she can slay the animal, however, she notices that he's being stalked by a wolf. But not an ordinary wolf, this is said to be a massive wolf. Feyre wonders whether it is a fairy, which relates to the fantasy conflict that we know nothing about. She waits for the wolf to attack the doe, and then slays both to bring the meat back home. So we're starting to see some character tropes emerging right off the bat. I was trying to find my footing in the story, trying to find out what it was going to be like.
Katniss
Everdeen is a good example, and I'll talk about that later. But what I thought originally was Cinderella. And the reason I thought originally Cinderella, she's got the mean older sisters that make her do all the work. She's so poor. You're supposed to feel bad for her, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, this is the kinds of tools that writers use to get us to feel things for our characters. I wasn't really sure about it.
We have to calibrate our minds by introducing the concepts of characters to us.
Yeah.
That's how they get us to care about their characters by using characters that we already care about.
Yeah, exactly. There really is nothing new under the sun. There really is nothing new. And it's surprising how frequently news stories are just retellings of old stories. So there's a little bit of Beauty and the Beast in here later on when you start seeing Tamlin and other characters come in. There's a little bit of Cinderella in the beginning. There's a little bit of Hunger Games, Katniss Everdeen. There's a little bit of Tolkien in the whole setting.
I don't know that one.
Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, the author. It's called Tolkien.
I don't know.
But yeah, there's a little bit of a lot of stories in there. Well, under my shirt. But yeah, no, I was just trying to figure out where the story was going because it was like...
You know what I mean?
It took a while for it to get anywhere.
It started And then it slowed right down.
A cigar, slow burn.
It slowed right down. I'm thinking, what am I reading? But yeah, oh dear. It turns out Feyre's dad was right. After she wanted to,
I even forgot he said that. That it was dangerous. Until you just said it, I totally forgot he even said it.
If it wasn't for me, you'd starve. When he said, "Oh, we shouldn't have this wolf skin."
Nearly got the wallet killed.
Turns out the wolf skin was too dangerous to be kept.
Yeah.
A friend of this magical fairy wolf that she killed came for her and her family, and he came for blood.
He came for necks.
Turns out what she did by slaughtering the wolf breaks the ancient treaty punishable by death, a life for a life. Obviously, our main character cannot die, so fortunately, all hope isn't lost. The wording of the treaty is a life for a life. She can give up her life and live out the rest of her days in exile in the deadly fairies' land. We don't know what that entails, but she doesn't have much of a choice. So, of course, she accepts. The beast says, "Let's go." She's like, "What, now?"
He said, "Right, blood now."
As if she's got a pie in the oven or something. It's horrible when your life explodes in real time. I've seen released interviews when police are charging somebody with death by dangerous driving or something, and the person will feebly say, "You can't arrest me. I've got a package coming tomorrow," or I've got university in the morning. Someone's killed. They've killed someone, and they're like, "Oh, I've got to go work later," sort of thing.
Love Island's on.
Yeah. To which the police officer said, "You don't go to uni anymore, love.
Oh, no.
You're going away for a long time."
Jesus.
But yeah, Feyre says her goodbyes to her family, who are all cowering with fear and shock. At which point her dad says to her, "Feyre, you was always too good for us, too good for here. If somehow you escape or you repay the debt and you are freed, don't return. Don't ever come back. Go somewhere new and you go and make a name for yourself." And I thought that was beautiful.
That was really
I thought that was beautiful. What is this I'm reading? Poetry?
Yeah,
Class
really
from the
nice
author. I picked this book up expecting to hate it, and I don't at all. Well, at least not yet. But yeah, that was beautiful. It was so unexpected. He said, "Don't return." I thought he was like, "You just didn't want to." And he said, "You're too good for us."
Yeah.
I thought that was...
And it's crazy because that's where it came away from the kind of Cinderella thing, in the sense that she is loved at home, and it's like, there is love there. Yes. And it's like, she kind of felt like her dad preferred her sisters, or like had a soft spot for her sisters and no soft spot for her, whatever, yada, yada, yada. But knowing that he thought she was too good for her, that must have...
You know what it was like? It was like Violet, Soren Girl's mother.
Yeah, general.
She pretends to not really like her.
Yeah, she's just trying to toughen her up.
But she's trying to toughen her up.
Just trying to toughen her up. So, I thought that was a pretty funny bit where he was like, "Yeah, let's go." She was like, "Now?" She said, "Yesterday." We should have been there already. Like, listen, we're waiting.
There's a pie in the oven.
That was super funny. Left it. Feyre and her sisters go to the market to sell the wolf hide. Along the way, they are approached by some kind of religious fanatic. A woman robed in white and wearing real silver. Bearing in mind, at this point, all we know about the story is that Feyre and her sisters and her dad are broke. So anyone wearing silver is like, mad, you got silver. May the immortal light shine upon these sisters, the robed woman says. Have you got a moment to spare that you might hear the word of the blessed? I think it's pretty funny that even in a fake fantasy land on a fake fantasy planet a million trillion miles away, you still get people interrupting your day to talk to you about God or things that you just might not even care about. Walking through Brixton is the exact same thing, literally. Yeah. Like, oh my God. I remember one time I walked past this church and I saw this guy lock in on me. I looked at him and he looked at me and we understood he was scanning. So, literally, no glass. Just walk past, no glass. One day it's going to come back to bite me though. Someone's going to be like, hablo español.
You're screwed.
Not prepared for that day. But yeah, it was just funny to me.
I do detect that this story is going on the conspiracy plot. We aren't really the good guys sort of plot, which is similar to the Fourth Wing, and it's quite played out to say. But I went on to say, bored in the house, bored.
Yeah.
This story to turn it into a slow-paced, boring story. Nothing is happening but Feyre moping around the house in captivity.
In that luxurious house with every piece of food she could ever want.
What kind of prison is this anyway?
No work.
It made no sense.
I said, do you want to swap?
Joseph, it made no sense. She killed the wolf, so you come and live in luxury now.
It made zero sense.
I'm going to take care of your family.
Exactly, and we'll give you anything you want. We just want to see you happy. What's going on? Listen, this kind of thing plays on the female fancy. It's what they want.
Idea.
This kind of thing plays on the female fancy. They believe they should be rewarded for fucking up. But anyways, this story has gone off the rails. Once Feyre and her sisters get home from the market, they're having their dinner when one of the creatures, a fairy, attacks them in their home and demands to know who killed the wolf. Feyre confesses to her crime and the fairy claims that the punishment is a life for a life. Feyre is willing to meet her end, but the fairy says he can either kill her or she can live out her life in Prythian, the fairy city. It just seems really weird that he would do that. He's furious and vengeful that she's murdered one of his kind, so to punish her, he's going to adopt her and move her into his house. Now, show her. Do you know what I mean? It makes no sense why they decide to do that. It feels like one of the most uninspired ways to advance a plot that I've probably ever seen. Like, they just want to get to the next scene desperately.
Do you know what? It made no sense, and the way it was done made no sense too. Why didn't it say something like, you see, like, even in Hunger Games, you've got Katniss that says, "I volunteer." She didn't. If she had said, he was going to kill her, and she said, "I volunteered to come with you," or it was me. She does something that triggers this treaty. Oh, now you have to come and live in prison. Legit. Oh, but I don't have a prison, or you're binded, or something
like that. But
it was just like, said, you got two choices.
I'm adopting you. No, why was she going to pick death? By the way, in the knowledge of what you're going to go live in luxury. Why would he pick
to adopt her?
Ridiculous. But imagine if they gave you the choice, he was like, I'll take death. Like, who's gonna do that? It's not really a choice at all.
It made no sense.
It was so weird to me, and it just took me right out of the story.
And I'm still bored. Where is the plot? At least the Fourth Wing had a plot. This is nonsense. Nothing's happening. We've had a scene where Feyre went to find a mythical beast that can give her an answer to life. So basically a fortune teller.
Yeah.
And then she got attacked by 4 wolves. She killed one of them and then had to be rescued by Tamlin.
It was ridiculous. I was like, we're not going anywhere. We're not doing anything. This is one of 2 action scenes I think we've got, and it's like the rest of it is drivel that we're just doing nothing. It's like in Funny Story where I was like, just eating asparagus, doing whatever, just do whatever. No plot.
There was at least that though, because what were they doing? They were just they were in gardens talking about
life.
They were literally in the garden,
Jesus.
And then it was basically that whole bit was where obviously Feyre was supposed to start falling for Tamlin. Obviously, we know that, right? But isn't it not a betrayal to like your friend's killer?
Yeah,
imagine someone killed me, and a couple
some woman killed you.
And then
a couple years down the line, we're getting married or whatever.
Yeah, it's like,
you're like, yo, what's going on that's now? All it took. A couple of years. That's all it took. Yeah, that's mad.
It didn't even take a couple of years, bro.
But that's what.
Listen, it did not take about a couple of years. In this.
20 minutes.
I'm telling you, it was like a month or 2.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all. It wasn't long at all. Yeah, oh my days. But this is, like I said, this plays on the female fantasy. You should want to give up everything for this woman. Everything. And she's not even that special. Everything.
Yeah.
She can't even read. She genuinely couldn't read all right. Do you know how funny that is? She couldn't read all right. Yeah. And it's like, you're supposed to want to give up everything. This story has turned on its head. Feyre is living in Prythian with the High Fae, fairy nobility, and the pace of the story has slowed to beyond a crawl. That is until one night she's approached by a hobbling man, her father. He's followed her from their hovel, even though apparently he couldn't walk. At once, Feyre grabs her gear and possessions, packs her bags as quickly as she can, and prepares to follow her father out of Prythian. Once she reaches the gates, however, she is caught by one of her captors, Tamlin, who tells her to look again. The person she had thought was her father shapeshifts into her sisters. Then it shapeshifts into her quiver and a mountain ash arrows. Then it finally disappears into the dark after being threatened by Tamlin. Your human senses will betray you, Tamlin says. That thing out of the gates would have taken its time devouring you. So whatever the monster was, it seems like it was something telepathic. Maybe it wasn't really explained at the time what it was. Maybe, it can see what you want most or whatever, and it takes the form of that. What would it take for you? If you can see the thing you want most, what, money?
100 bitches.
100. Spread out literally as far as I can see. I thought that was like the action that we got comes out of absolutely nowhere. The pacing of the story was a real issue for me. So they're coming in from the market, they get home, boom, someone's attacking them in the house. Then she's gone. Forget about the family. Don't see them again. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, they're just chilling out, hanging with Tamlin, talking, doing whatever, and then she just sees her dad, and then it's a shapeshifter, and then next thing we're back to, talking. Pace the story slows. Pacing was just really off.
There was a part where Tamlin said to Feyre, never feel bad for one moment about what brings you joy. The way I rolled my eyes when Tamlin took Feyre's hands and started kissing them, then he comes up with that poison. Never feel bad for one moment about what brings you joy. Never. So never feel bad about gorging on junk food. Never feel bad about infidelity. Never feel bad about being spiteful towards someone. She felt good about killing the wolf in the beginning, which was Tamlin's friend.
Yeah, legit. He said, don't feel bad about that. He wasn't my boy anyway. That's basically what he said.
Let me ask you a question, Joseph. Have you ever simultaneously kissed your girlfriend's palms? Well, apparently, according to the novels like this, we should, because that's so sexy.
Yeah,
you know.
literally.
So we must be boring.
We must be super boring.
These bitches be starfishing, but I'm boring.
Oh my god, you know,
I'm boring.
lying there, you know, it's ridiculous. Disgraceful. Their knees, literally, they got 3 good bounces in them knees. It's done. Check engine light comes on. But
so yeah, this is female literature, you know, kissing her palms, and is that what you women want?
Literally, playing up to the female fantasy is super crazy, because even what he just said, don't feel bad about what brings you joy. That just seems like such a feminine mindset to me.
No, that's
like never feel bad about anything you want to do.
Yeah, it's indoctrination. It's
literally, it's like don't
it's funny
discourage self-discipline. It's it's a very bad idea.
Exactly that. It's funny because a lot of guys are not reading books like this. There are some guys reading this book, 100%, but this is definitely marketed for women. So there's all this information that they're pumping into their heads that we don't know about that. So then when they come in saying, "Oh, I don't feel like having sex today," you know, whatever shit that women say to men, and we're like, "Well, that's a bit selfish," sort of thing. But they think it's
they
okay.
Got no frame of reference for that. They ain't feeling bad about anything.
I'm not gonna feel bad for anything that makes me happy.
100%. So we're even thinking exactly. Yeah, no, you're right.
So, you know.
Crazy, man. Jeez. So it's doomed to...
It's doomed.
It seems like Feyre is putting herself into mortal peril for no reason. I want to feel like conflict is occurring because of the plot. But at the moment, I feel like the plot is occurring because of the conflict. It's kind of like what you said. There needs to be something to trigger what is happening. I need to feel like events are going from one to the other. And I just feel like things are happening because it's in the script.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Something's got to happen.
Something's got to happen. Feyre hears about a fairy called Asuriel, something with the power to answer any and all questions. If she can trap one, all her questions will be answered. The problem is, the volatile country is dangerous for her, and attempting to ensnare a fairy is even more dangerous. Despite this, she succeeds and learns that there is truly no loophole in the treaty. No way for her to get home. Before she can flee, both she and the Suriel are surrounded by more fairies. These ones covered in dark scales and made from shadow and hate and rot. Whatever that means. Their names, the Naga. I was instantly suspicious. I said,
Chili.
Naga. Huh?
Isn't that a chili?
No, I was like, Naga. Why is it so... That sounds like... Because they're dark and they're called the Naga. I said, what's going on here? I said, what's going on here? I know what these fantasy authors are like nowadays, right? So J.K. Rowling...
Don't like them Nagas.
Literally, no, Naga's coming. J.K. Rowling, she had one black character in Harry Potter and he was called Shacklebolt. I said, Shacklebolt. His name's Shackle and he's the one black character. So the Naga surround Feyre and consider which parts of her they're going to eat first. One of them says, the Dark Mother said, that's a gift today, brothers. The Dark Mother? What are they doing? Surely this can't be a coincidence. Surely not. I just thought it was super crazy.
But yeah, this romance that's about to come, this is classic Stockholm syndrome. Classic, you know, prisoner
legit.
and captor.
Yeah.
But Joseph, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Explain to me, what is the fucking point of Lucian?
Yeah, no,
what did he add to the story?
He's just there to say stuff.
Even the random maid that would brush Feyre's hair.
He's just there to say stuff. Yeah, Alice.
Yeah. What was the
she
whole...
She had maids. That was ridiculous. That was actually ridiculous. And she was still trying to escape. You're an idiot. You're an actual
didn't
idiot.
want her to come back anyway.
They literally said, don't come back. And they even said they're better looked after now than they were before. She had no reason to ever leave. She was still trying to leave. But yeah, now Lucian, he was just there.
Because I think I got
he was just there saying stuff. He was there to make witty remarks.
Tamlin is probably one of the worst, most toxic, sexual, abusive characters I've ever read about.
Legit.
He kidnaps Feyre, and then he's overcome with so much sexual desire that after he finishes fucking some random other girl, he holds Feyre down and rubs up against her and bites her neck and leaves a bruise. She actually slaps him and pushes him off. And then he manipulates Feyre into kissing him the next day. Yeah, he says, I can widen your senses, but you got to kiss me. Would he have said that to Lucian?
Yeah, that's mad.
Oh, it's a man.
Yeah, no, that's mad. That's definitely mad what he did. But listen, look, I'm about to get to this anyways. Since this is our first scene of combat, I feel obligated to mention that there is a reason why Hawkeye is the worst Avenger. I don't care what era it is, there is zero excuse for wielding a bow and arrow in a fight. especially in close quarters. It's more of a hunting tool than a weapon. This is like trying to fight with a fishing rod. You get one shot and then that reload time is going to bite you in the arse. And everyone knows this as well.
Switching to your secondary is always
So it's always faster reloading. Gaz, come on. We know who it is. We know who is to blame for this, of course. Robin Hood's been having bow and arrow for years. Nobody says anything. As soon as Hunger Games came out and people saw Katniss Everdeen, it's like every female protagonist in a fantasy novel wants to be an archer. I don't know why they like to complicate things. That's a good example, Merida. I don't know why they like to complicate things and say, and give the main character in a fight a bow and arrow. You got one shot.
Do you know what it is? It's because girls stereotypically are not nitty-gritty, no power. They don't want to be up in, when you've got a character that's using a bow and arrow, they're more human. They're less vicious than someone that's gonna ram a knife into someone. So 100%. That's what it is. It's just from distance.
Ranged weapons. Yeah. As far away from the danger as possible, basically.
Tamlin. Tamlin was resenting the table that was between me and him. He could have me on top of that table. I wanted his broad hands all over my bare skin. I wanted his teeth scraping all over my neck. I could almost feel the warmth on his breath. He was devouring me with his eyes. Filth. This is
Bring
filth.
back that Christianity book,
Filth.
Bring back the Christianity
Give me everything, I said. He growled and lunged. The beast freed its tether. This is bestiality.
Yes, this is bestiality.
It's bestiality.
Come on.
Is this what women want? His claws were out, but surprisingly gentle between my legs.
What do you mean?
Have
Gentle? Have you ever felt gentle claws?
Have you lost your mind?
Yeah, no.
Have you not lost your mind?
This is crazy. This should be illegal. This should actually be illegal.
This is what they find sexy.
That's crazy. Ugh.
Bloody
And then obviously, don't forget to kiss their palms first. Jesus Christ,
Bloody
man.
hell. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. It was terrifying, more like. But to be fair, I've never read like convincing sex scenes in any book ever. They've always been cringy, like every single one. Even 50 Shades of Grey, which was 50 Shades of Grey, like sold like most copies of.
Oh yeah. we weren't reviewing that book, Man was biting his lip. Literally.
It's getting a bit saucy. I'll come back to that later. I'm struggling to understand why Feyre even wants to leave. She's living in luxury with fine foods, wine, baths, being pampered, all the things she basically didn't get at home that she was complaining about there. And she wants to go back to the mud hut with the family that hates her so she can get up at the crack of dawn to chop wood. I get that she made a promise to her mum, etc., but her being in Prythian is actually better for her family. Like I said, I feel as though the plot lacks conviction. I don't feel convinced by any of the characters' motivations. It feels like they're doing these things because it's in the script. Like, what do the High Fae want with her? They're super powerful, immortal, magical shapeshifters, and she can't even read, and is constantly putting herself into danger that they need to save her from. Why is it always this? Why is it always the most useless, most boring female protagonist that catches the attention of the most powerful, revered men? I was just like, what do they even want with her? Why do they even bring her? Why do they not just kill her and just live their lives, whatever they're doing?
Tamlin was the bad man,
High Lord, what did they say?
Remember, when this ritual come round, he's got to find, all the women are like, Tamlin.
When a great rite, they said when a great rite came round, they said the cave was lined up with, with girl.
Yeah. So finally something of significance happens. Reese, is it Reese?
Yeah, Reese and
Reese, who it wasn't actually made clear who he was, came true and made Tamlin his bitch.
He bitched him.
I loved that scene. I
bitched him.
I felt so bad for Tamlin.
I felt bad for Tamlin, but at the same time I said, hey, listen, game's game.
My man literally said to Tamlin, bow and beg.
Bow and beg. Then he said to Lucian, you too, fox boy. I said, hey! Me personally, remember what you said earlier? I wish you would. Nah, it's over. It's over. Forget all the consequences. It's over. I'm rushing you.
Tamlin, with all his power, bowed down with his head on the ground. He put his head on the ground. Man said, please, sir.
Oliver Twist.
Immediately after, plot twist. Tamlin says to Feyre, Yeah, I'm sending you home. So
Yeah, you have to-
know
you have
that
to.
Reese man
That
is
burned
serious.
him. Not only that, but that burned him to do that in front
you
of her
can't
as
look
well.
at, you
Like,
can't
can't
listen,
look at
if
the
you
same
get
after that.
duppied like that in front of your girl, you cannot act like a bad man no more.
No
like
more,
never
you know,
again.
never
because
again.
you can just bring out the line. So
Literally.
you're bad
So
man
when
for me.
was- so when
but
was-
when you
just
had
what
your
I'm
head
saying.
on the ground,
Literally, you're
kissing
there.
the man's shoes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're there having your relations or whatever. You try to ask her whose pussy's not yours. Like, who are you again? Like,
She'll
bro, it's
listen,
over.
she'll definitely dry up.
Yeah, it's over. It's
the
over.
relationship's over.
So if you're on the street, whatever, some guys pull up four man hop up the 4-door,
Yeah.
gun or a knife or whatever.
I'm
They're like, yeah,
taking
kiss
it.
my shoes.
Excuse me.
I said, pardon, pardon.
You'd have to shoot me.
Yeah,
No, but
nah, it's long.
you cannot get buoyed like that in front of your girl. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's
it's long.
nah.
I'd rather get shot.
Nah.
At the end of the day, it is what it is. I died a hero's death.
Yeah, exactly.
I died a warrior's death.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that was so bad. I definitely felt really bad for Tamlin.
But that's why. This is why I say the story wasn't terrible. There were some good little scenes in there.
Good little scenes. There were some good little scenes in Iron Flame, though. I still said that was a disgrace, but it was better than this. I still think.
You think Iron Flame is better?
Yeah, I'd
but
rather
I feel
do Iron
like the Iron Flame is like obviously Violet's this amazing character that can do everything.
Yeah. Favour's
this
not like
is
that. Favour's definitely not
more
like that.
Believable.
He's
but
definitely more
You know
believable.
what? The character's better, but the writing's worse.
I said Iron Flame had a plot.
Yeah, this
Full
the
Flame had a
writing's
plot.
The writing's
Like
worse.
I knew what was happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but this, I don't know what was going on.
Even the plot towards the end, it was just stuck on the end.
Oh,
it was
my
just
days, a
forced.
disgrace. It was a
just
disgrace.
the trials.
Disgrace,
You know,
yeah.
we just decided what's the only thing that Thera could possibly take part in. I know we're gonna have some trials, which means that you can possibly save the day.
Yeah,
it was like,
disgracia.
what is this?
Do people actually enjoy this sort of stuff? We're about halfway through the book, and apart from one or two action scenes that were uncompelling to say the least, most of what we've done is follow Lucien and Tamlin around as they dote on Feyre and take pleasure from giving her anything she desires. We're still missing the why. Why are these super powerful beings so obsessed with waiting on her every whim? I feel like I keep asking this question with every review we do, but is this what people want? Do people read this stuff and connect with it or engage with it? Are people being entertained by pages upon pages of nothing happening? Like Feyre taking baths and painting, going swimming with Lucien just for no reason. Maybe it's the old story of this sort of thing playing on the female fantasy, like it always is. Young female readers see this sort of thing and they escape their real lives for an hour or so and imagine they were Feyre, whisked away from their real lives and doted on by a high status man who wants nothing from them. We've seen it in almost every fantasy story. I mean, almost every romance story we've read, to be fair. Like I said, we saw it in Fourth Wing and we saw it in Funny Story, where they're just doing whatever they want. You know, it's just like, oh, but it's terrible. It's not believable. Do women find this believable?
It's played out. That's the thing.
It's beyond played out.
We've done this. We've been this. We've
It's
read
beyond
this
played
multiple
out.
times.
It's beyond played out.
So let me get this straight. The baddie, I don't know her name, the woman
Amanthara, something like that.
who is dying for Tamlin's dick, who's waited years and killed hundreds, just randomly decided to give Feyre a shot at rescuing him instead of just killing her on the spot for some reason. Furthermore, why is Feyre going through the trouble since she found out Tamlin was only interested in her because he was trying to break the curse? That was never touched on. Never touched on. I thought that was quite clever. It made it. We finally got the why.
We finally got the why.
We finally got the why.
It
made no sense before. So that was that was done quite well, I think.
It was done well, but at the same time, it's so weird that it's like, why do women love toxic men? Why do they love them? I don't get it. Like, every woman has a story about some toxic guy that she dated, but no women can find any good men. You ever notice that? No women can find good men, but you all have a story about a toxic man. So either every man is a complete asshole, or you're looking in the wrong places.
That's
or
why I'm toxic.
You're using the wrong filters to look for the YouTube video. Do you know what I mean? So, I personally think, and I've got my next point is even about this. I said there is something. Second to last. There is something about a man that can't contain his sexual desire for a woman that appeals to the female fantasy. It kind of makes sense. Women are attracted to masculinity, to men who are masters of their domain, and alpha males take what they want. I think this is probably why women love villains. I heard a great quote one time. It said, "The hero will sacrifice you to save the world, and the villain will sacrifice the world to save you." And that is why women love villains, because villains are selfish. Lucien tells Feyre about a ceremony called the Great Rite, where Tamlin will be expected to choose a maiden, take her into the cave,
Deal with her.
And deal with it and pattern it up. Basically rape her. Because of that, Lucian tells Feyre to stay in her locked bedroom for the entirety of the ritual as Tamlin won't be in his right mind. As soon as she hears this, Feyre's nipples start getting hard. Straight away, I was like, she's defo not staying in that room. Defo. But I expect we're being set up for a twist where she leaves her room to see the ceremony and ends up being raped by Tamlin, which is what will spiral into this epic love story that we're meant to be getting. It's quite interesting to see how we as humans can be our own worst enemies. Men, for example, if we get a little bit of money, what's the first thing we do? We buy expensive watches, expensive cars, show off to women. What do we claim to hate more than anything else? Gold diggers. So it's weird that like our behaviour is very counterproductive to what we say we want. And women do the exact same thing. You love toxic men. You love it. You can't get enough. And Chris Brown, like, sorry to cut you off again. Chris Brown, remember the thing I said about Chris Brown? Chris Brown is an abuser. It's common knowledge that he beat up Rihanna. It's common knowledge.
I know a girl that loves Tory Lanez. She's I'd let him shoot me.
They love it. They can't get enough of it. They cannot get enough. That's mad that she said that. Because Chris Brown, yeah. She used to pick a struggle. Pick a struggle. Yeah. Pick a struggle, man.
Yeah.
Pick a struggle. The sexies were very, very difficult to get through. I had to summon my ancestors.
So?
I had to summon my ancestors.
As I said, Fourth Wing,
it was way worse.
Way worse.
It was definitely
way worse.
Yeah, that was
by far.
But the
feral.
The reason why I said that is because they said feral in Fourth Wing. This was feral because he's an animal. Do you know what I mean? So this is why I said I'm not comfortable with this. They're talking. Does he like turn mid set? Like what we do? This I'm not comfortable with this. I'm not comfortable with this. Nah, it's mad. It's a whole new meaning to doggy style, you know.
That was a good one. That was a good one. You're on a real doggy. No, that's hilarious. Fucking hell. Also, you know the bit where Reese pulled up on Tamlin and made him his bitch? Quick question.
I just remember that scene.
Quick question. I would love to see that on video, you know? Like, I would love to... They were talking about making this into some series,
God.
you know?
I
think it got cancelled. It'll probably come round again.
It might come round again, yeah.
But yeah, quick question. When Feyre, with quick thinking on her feet, lied to Reese and told him that her family was the Joneses, for example, so she obviously didn't want him to know who they were, would you have lied or told him the truth if it was you?
I understand why she lied, because she's like, what's the benefit of telling him the truth? Like, we don't know this person. He seems dangerous anyway, the way he's making him
100%, but personally, I'm a terrible liar and I wouldn't have thought of that on the spot.
Yeah, fair enough.
Coupled with the fact that I reckon he could probably find me anyway, because Tamlin found her.
They found her with quickness as well.
Would it not have been better for the authors to have had her tell the truth and actually lose her family? And then it actually makes sense for her to have no choice but to go back to either get revenge for her family or to help Tamlin. Because our family could have just been wasted. We didn't need them.
Really did.
And then we would have made us feel...
You're forgetting. They could have been written well as well. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Could have just had good writing. Could have just had good writing, to be fair. Problem solved. Yeah, I think there was a load of things that was wrong. I don't want to say wrong, but wrong with the story. To be fair, that prevented me from enjoying it as much as I could have. There was a couple of characters that I really didn't. I thought characters were probably a strong point of the story. To be fair,
which characters? Which ones? Even Tamil.
Yeah, Tamlin. Yeah,
Tamlin. Even
Tamlin. His name can't be that good.
None of the character. There was no good character.
I didn't rate him after that scene.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Yeah, you can't. You literally can't. And it's a cold world. You can't
bow down on the floor for man.
Oh my days.
Mad.
I'm sorry, master. No, that's peak. That's actually peak. I said the first real sex scene and it's as weird as I thought. Gratuitous use of wild superlatives and verbs such as "he feasted between my thighs." I was like, feasted? Ugh. Is that a sexy word?
You never feasted between the gal.
Oh my god, is that a sexy word? Feasted? Because you say, oh my, devoured is probably
gorged.
No, gorged is terrible. Gorged is terrible. Devoured, I could have understood. I could have understood if they said devoured. Yeah. With a yam cat and a China this. Nah, you're not serious, though. I was like, it's feasted. Surely that's not a sexy word. It's like when we read that start.
I want him to feast me.
Oh my god, it's disgraceful. It's a disgrace.
Filth.
It's a disgrace.
Maybe this book was a bit filthy.
Yeah, no, it was.
So was it alright for Jenna to read?
Oh my god.
Jenna's what, 15?
Oh yeah, she is. I don't know, man. Yeah, you decide. It's not my domain.
Yeah, no. It's
That's not my
too...
domain.
No. But it's not... This is not for adults, though.
I think it's probably for
Young
16,
adults,
16, 17.
Yeah, but that's
probably.
too...
No, it's not too young. 16, 17.
No, but 16, 17, that's too naughty.
What's the age of consent? That's just literally, they're about to become adults. So I think that's probably 17. Let's say 17.
It's a bit nasty, though.
It is a bit
filthy.
It's mainly because it's the problem is compounded because it's animals as well. They're shapeshifters. So it's like, surely this is, like you said, if it's not bestiality, why isn't it? Because they're animals.
No, it is, definitely.
Are they turning... That's what I'm saying.
Not humans. They're not humans, they're animals. So yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, what do you
crazy.
think humans are animals?
And it's crossbreeding as well. It's
Yeah.
genuinely crossbreeding, which is a big no-no as well. So there's a huge... Nah, listen, actually, cancel this woman. I'm just changing my mind, cancel her.
I'm confused. I don't know how to feel about Favour's decision to pledge herself to spend 2 weeks in a month in Reason's house.
Reasons, yeah.
Not only is he Tamlin's arch enemy, but in Favour's own words, Reese is the most handsome man she's ever seen. If it was me and I heard my girl had accepted that deal, that's GG's.
Yeah, GG.
That's good
well
game.
played. Literally,
Later. See you
well
later.
played. 100%.
So all Reason does is parade her around half naked and gets her to give him a couple lap dances here and there. But what's with the half measures? He could have had Favour every which way. Why did that not happen?
He could have done her up.
Why don't but then it was explained after.
Yeah,
it was explained after, and it was quite clever.
We write these notes when we see them.
Yeah. Reason wanted to claim his innocence. But what do you think about that, Joseph? Your enemy was doing all of that, then turns around to say to you, "Well, I was just trying to get you mad. Why didn't you think I didn't have her properly?" Is that calm?
No, man.
Is he off the hook?
No, he's not off the hook.
I was just trying to get you mad.
I'm still not over the fact that this guy made me kiss the floor, bro. I'm like, off the hook. You're not off the hook for nothing. The only way you can actually get... Now I'm getting my lip back. I don't care. The only way you're off the hook is if I kill you. Like, I have to kill you.
Now you're off the hook.
Like, I dead ass have to murder you. I have to see the light leave your eyes. And then when I reclaim my masculinity, that is when you can say...
But this is what I said, because I think there's a plot hole here. If Reason is on the goody side, why did he snitch on Feyre and Tamil?
That's a good point to be fair, because it is a plot hole, because the whole reason he was kissing the floor is even to say don't snitch.
Exactly. And if Reason is
this is why I said he took the piss, and I actually wouldn't have had it, because after man did all that, kiss the floor. Sorry, Master. He literally said, "I might tell her, I might not." I said, like, what? What did you just say? Bro, I want to hear your lips are sealed after I just did that. No, you're not leaving. You're not leaving.
Yeah, no.
You're actually not leaving. That's taking the piss. He said, "I might tell her, I might not."
And he did. And he did.
He's taking the piss. So you can't claim innocence. You can't say, "I was just trying to..." Nah. You can't say anything. But it was interesting, the dynamic with Reese and Tamlin. Yeah. And it's kind of switched around, because you're supposed to like Tamlin in the beginning.
No, but I liked Reese the whole way.
You did?
I never hated him. Not one time.
Well, I mean,
he was conniving.
Yeah.
And tricky, but he wasn't dangerous. We didn't think he was going to do anything like we do.
But it is crazy reading this story from a woman's perspective, though, because it's like, you're reading this through a woman's eyes, because it's like how they see the world, how this woman might see her world that she's constructed, right? And she's like, Tamlin's come and he's abducted her from her family, and like now he is the master of the domain. She's attracted to him. As soon as she sees this guy get bitched by Rhysand, he's the master of the domain. Now she's attracted to him. He's brought into her. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like how they switch targets based upon who is the master of the domain, basically, or should we say Feyre did. It is extremely... It's animal brain. It is very interesting.
I've pretty much finished.
Yes.
I think this book is fantastic, actually.
Yeah, it's bloody disgrace.
Unfortunately, the first half was absolute trash, but the second half has been gold. I'm currently on Feyre's last trial, which she has to kill 3 innocent fairies, and that scene was full of emotion, and it was brilliant. So, didn't you think that I thought the whole trial thing was a scam. That was rubbish.
Exactly.
The whole idea was, but the last trial.
Everything that I read, I said, but why are we here?
Exactly. It didn't make any sense.
Why are we here?
But the last trial where she had to kill 3 innocents and please don't do it. Da, 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 da. I thought that was good. Is she gonna do it? Is she not gonna do it?
Yeah.
And I knew Tamlin was gonna be in the last one.
Yeah.
I knew it, and then. But I didn't know about the Heart of Stone. She figured that out.
I literally just said, why are we here? Why are we actually here?
I thought it was alright.
I thought
I think it's the best. It's the best romance story.
I think there was elements of it I enjoyed.
But
I think there was elements I think that was written well. But as a book, do I think the book was a good book? No.
I don't necessarily think the book was a good book. I just think it was the best romance book we read. And I think the first half was trash. The first half, throw it away.
Literally bin it.
And why wasn't Tamil the main character?
Yeah, that's why do we even need Feyre? Why is she even in the book? See, this is what I'm talking about. You love this book.
I never said that.
You said fantastic.
I did say that, but I was coming down off a high.
Yeah, you was. I can tell.
You know, I was coming down off the high.
It happens sometimes.
So the book wasn't fantastic, but
we're gonna have to read the sequel though, innit?
Of course we do.
Yeah, listen, this ain't for enjoyment.
And apparently, I've read some reviews. They said all the books are mid, but the second one is.
Yeah, I heard another review that even said I hated the first one with a passion. She read it and then tried to read it again and gave up halfway through the second time she read it, and then she read the second one and loved it. So I was like, that means something.
But yeah, the story's complex compared to your average fourth wing fantasy. And I like the internal.
We cooked fourth wing too much, man. Let's chill on that.
Shit.
No, it's better than this.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's better.
Think about it, right?
But the character's better, the plot's better, everything's better.
Well, remember...
The romance is better.
Okay, the romance is better.
The romance is better.
The romance is better. But think about it. The plot was... So we figured out the plot after. There was a plot, and the plot was for Tamil to trick a girl into saying, I love you.
Yeah.
So that was... And that was to break a spell. So it was actually quite complicated, and it actually hoodwinked us, and we didn't know what was going on.
But I don't enjoy the sensation of being hoodwinked for the whole time, man. I'm not like, because it's like when other things do it, are we? Agent Kovacs. When other things do it, like when Game of Thrones does it, when Game of Thrones hoodwinks you, other things are going on, and you're enjoying the journey.
Not always. Sometimes you're like, what the fuck is this?
Like when?
As in, so look at Arya with the many-faced gods. You know, there's episodes where she's blind for the whole thingy, episode, and nothing happens.
To be fair, that's like, we're not watching whole episodes of her though. There'll be like other characters. So that's why I'm talking about the show as a whole.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the show as a whole. It's not so much of an issue if like you said,
most boring episodes of my life.
Yeah, of course. Like you said with Lucian, why is Lucian in there? It's fine to like criticize one character, and that's totally fine. But I'm saying if the whole book, I'm wondering what's the point to any of it? Like imagine you watch the episode of Game of Thrones and it chopped up like POVs, and you're thinking I didn't like that part. They're like, what's the point to waste the whole thing? So there was good twists in the book, and there was good themes. There were some interesting themes.
They need some work on characters.
Execution.
And it was so slow in the middle. It was
incredibly slow.
But why do Feyre and Tamlin?
Yeah.
I've changed the name to Tamlin.
I really don't know how you always fuck their names up. You listen to them. How do you mess the names up?
Tamlin. So why do Tamlin and Feyre love each other?
Oh, who knows? She ain't seen his face. She ain't even seen his face.
Didn't she see at the end?
He can't read. She can't read, sorry.
Didn't she see at the end?
I think she... Oh, yeah.
And killed the woman.
Yeah. And then she became a high fae.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I forgot about that.
It was like Twilight.
Yeah. No. I said, so you've become... This is all I
But
need.
why didn't they... Do you know what? They could have done it much better. They could have done it in a way where... what happened to her? Did she get sliced or something?
Something like that.
Something happened to her. Why didn't they use the blood of the baddie and put it in her, and that's what changes her, and then maybe she can become slightly evil.
Elijah, why wasn't the book written well? You know what I mean? Why was it not written well? You got all these good ideas,
but
I've
enjoyed talking to you about it. So maybe book is...
That's true. And she's rich and famous, and we know her name. She don't know our names, so we can't even. But
she will do. She will do one day, because we're gonna read her books.
We're gonna hate
all of them.
We're
gonna slate them.
I'm pre-ordering the second one as soon as we finish this.
Is the trilogy done then? Not the trilogy. Is it all done?
I don't know. I just know that I don't even know.
They can never
title
really
of the second one.
done. They can always write now.
It's never over.
We're gonna get onto this now. So yeah. Well, thank you for listening. Until next time.